Okay, now back to the order of business. First, Dr. Vanelli is going to be saying a few words.
Yeah, so Stephen's been with us for 3 years filming our board meetings, and we could not be more proud of what we just saw and the dedication that you have to Piscataway High School and just our community in general. So I really want to thank you for us knowing you so well and really seeing you in action there. So everybody give a round of applause.
Next, we have student presentation. Tonight, we have Tomby. She's by herself. Tyler's not here, but the senior representative's got it covered.
Thank you. Well, Happy New Year, all. It's so good to be back in 2025, which is crazy to think it's my graduation year, so many exciting things coming up. So on that note, college applications, I know some of you already asked me about them. They have been starting to wrap up. I believe most of the senior class has applied by now. Some of them already have committed. We've had kids commit to Northeastern, NYU. There's a lot of exciting news here at the high school, so that's something to look forward to the upcoming months. To start off, next Monday, Science National Honor Society is going to have their 6th-year alum day, which they have a bunch of alum from the Science Honor Society and also just the Science Club come and speak about their experiences in college. I know there's 33 students coming back, so that's going to be a lot of graduates coming back to the high school, so that'd be really exciting, and hear about their experiences and any advice that they could give us. I know next Thursday, Chinese Club is celebrating the Lunar Celebration, which is a free event here at the high school. It's also sponsored by the P-Way Education Association, which is a new club here at the high school as well. They've done a lot of kickoff events this year and has been super exciting. The Chinese New Lunar Celebration is something that's really big here at the high school every year. It's a great way to get students to come and volunteer and just have a lot of spirit, so that's something to look forward to. FBLA and HOSA has continued on their sponsorship runs, which have been super successful in getting kids involved. I know they get more and more each day, every week. It's a nice way to get them out in the community and get some experience to real life business and also just healthcare interactions. So that's been very exciting. Speaking on FBLA, I know last month I mentioned the regionals competition for SLC, which is the State Leadership Conference in March. This year we had 101 students place in competitions, which is the largest it's ever been. Super exciting. So many fun things can happen. We're really excited from a wide range of events, from single events to doubles to team events. So that should be really nice to see all of the P-Way spirit at that conference in March. Rho Kappa Honor Society, also known as Social Studies Honor Society, and English National Honor Society is taking a field trip next Wednesday to the New York Public Library. Oh, I'm sorry, the meeting for it is next Wednesday, and then the field trip should be in February or March. It's the New York Public Library and the New York Museum National History, which should be really fun as well to see them getting nice and involved. It's also the city, I love New York City, so that should be really nice to see the students go and get that type of interaction and explore. Also, the theater rehearsal started this week for the drama club show Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I know after school rehearsals have started. I know the students are putting a lot of work, so it's been really nice to hear about that. Students Against Destructive Decisions, SAD, we actually had a meeting with Mr. Bonasano today. We have some really exciting things coming up. We are partnering with the police department for a upcoming campaign for the New Jersey Brain Alliance, which is a new competition that they're doing this year, so that should be fun. And actually our slogan, which hopefully you'll see soon, is P-Way, drive safe, drive slow. So we're really excited to spread the message of just speeding and driving safety, especially as teenagers. We think it's a really important message to spread at the high school. And as SAD is just a new club, we're really excited to kick off that this year. The National Honor Society had their National Blood Drive. They had 78 pins collected and 99 students register, which is a amount, which has been really nice to see how much it's grown over the past couple of years and get so many students involved. The Day of Dialogue Equity team here at the high school, we also have some really cool things going on. We're actually participating in the No Hate in the Garden State competition this month. So I've been working on that proposal, which is really exciting. We have really cool things planned and ideas to, improve equity inclusion here at the community and also just reduce stigma and get spread identity awareness. The National Honor Society also had their induction ceremony, which I know I saw some of you there, which has been really cool. And we're really, really excited to have so many new students, a lot of juniors and seniors, and see about all the wellness and academic achievement achieved here at the high school. As well, touching on what Tyler usually talks about, the freshman boys basketball team also won at the championship, Piscataway Holidays Hoops. He's actually there at a game right now. So it's really nice to see all the winter sports also pick up. That concludes my report.
Thank
What
you
was
so
the date of the Lunar New Year things?
January 16th.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tomby. As always, incredible, informative, always keeping us in the loop of P-Way High School. We thank you for that. We thank you for your time and dedication to us. But I know you're still cracking the books and doing all your AP work and all the decisions you have to make. So feel free to go ahead and leave. And thanks again for coming out tonight and giving us an update of the high school.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to change up on the agenda. Next would have been the president's report. However, I'm going to go directly into public session. So, public comments from the floor. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on the educational issues and school matters of community interest. In support of this position, the law established a period of public comment at every board meeting. Individuals wishing to speak must state their name and address. Comments are limited to 3 minutes duration, but an individual may speak a second time after all others who wish to speak on the topic have been heard. The board may require that individuals register to speak prior to the beginning of the meeting. Participants may submit written materials in support of their position. All statements and/or questions shall be directed to the presiding officer, and no participant may address or question board members individually. All speakers are required to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy rights of others whose legal rights may be affected. Please note, while it is not the board's intention to stifle comments on matters of legitimate concern to the school district community, the public should be aware that if their statements violate the rights of others under the law governing defamation and/or invasion of privacy, they may face personal liability to the injured party. If speakers are uncertain of legal ramifications of their comments, the board urges them to seek guidance beforehand from their own legal advisor. Public session is now open. Is there anyone in the audience who wants to come up and speak in public session? If you do, please come forward, state your name, your address, and so Mr. Oliveira, greatest secretary of BAs over here, can record it in his notes. Hey, we might know you. How you doing?
Hello and good evening.
Good evening.
I'm William Gonzalez, principal of Quibbletown Middle School, as well as the president of the Principal and Supervisors Association here at Piscataway. I want to welcome all the new board members and congratulations. Okay? And I'd also like to say Happy New Year to all of the returning board members. I want to thank you for your support always. It's really a pleasure to work with all of you, and I hope we continue all of that success. Just a few comments about Dr. Ranelli, if I could. Frank, I want to thank him for his leadership and guidance. We've been able to, the PPSA, been able to really develop a great relationship with the superintendent's office. He's been able to guide us through some really very difficult times, as you well know. And with his help and hard work, we were able to get through that and come out better on the other side. I wish you good luck in your new endeavors. Work on your golf game when you get better, right? I know that slice of yours, right? We'll have to see each other, okay? But congratulations on your retirement and your new endeavors.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, looky, somebody else we know.
Joe Toma, 31 Stelton Road, Suite 6 in Piscataway. Good evening, President Cherry and members of the board. From the very first day, Dr. Ranelli has led with passion, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to our students, teachers, and staff. Under his leadership, we've seen positive growth, innovation, and a clear vision for the future. And if I may address Dr. Ranelli personally, Madam President, with your permission.
You have my permission.
Dr. Ranelli, your ability to balance the demands of administration while keeping the well-being of the entire community at the forefront has been nothing short of inspiring. You've been a guiding force during times of challenges, there have been many, and a cheerleader of new ideas and a steady presence through it all. Your legacy will live on through the improvements you've made, the people you've mentored, and the countless lives you've touched along the way, myself included. We will miss your leadership, your wisdom, and your kindness, but more than that, we will miss your presence as a mentor. The working relationship between a union president and a superintendent, well, it can be disastrous if there isn't trust and a deep commitment to the students and the staff. Thankfully, since both of us were aligned in those beliefs, it became the cornerstone of a relationship where no discussion was taboo and everything was framed in a way that could become a collaboration during a challenge. On behalf of the PTEA, I want to extend our deepest gratitude for your years of service. You've left an indelible mark. We wish you all the best as you move forward in your next adventure. Know that you will always have a home here, and we look forward to hearing about your future successes. Thank you for everything, but you're not off the hook yet. We still have a lot to discuss, but thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Toma. Anyone else wishing to come forward and speak? Please feel free to do so. Being I see no one else coming forward, can I have a motion to close public session?
Motion.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Public session is now closed. Now we're going to go back to the other side of the agenda, and we're going to go to my president's report. The President's Report for January 9th, 2025. Congratulations and a job well done to Tombi Navar, who is our senior student representative to the board, for continuing her incredible work to raise awareness about overdoses and the dangers of opioid use. Tombi teamed up with the Partnership for a Drug-Free New Jersey to develop an informative and engaging webinar for Knockout Opioids Abuse Day. Also, Tombi's Overdose Project has been selected to be showcased at Duke University's Distinguished Health Equity Symposium on February the 7th. Congratulations, Tombi, on being recognized for your hard work and on behalf of our community. Congratulations are also in order to our seniors who have been accepted to college on Instant Decision Days at PHS. Instant Decision Days are a non-binding way to receive an on-the-spot college acceptance from an admissions counselor who reviews a student's submitted application. The offers are not binding, and the students are free to continue exploring other colleges. PHS students have gained admissions to Seton Hall, Montclair State, Kane, Fairleigh Dickinson through Instant Decision Days and have been awarded tens of thousands of dollars in scholarship money. Thanks to our counselors Rodney West, Sharmika Pinnell, and the entire PHS counseling department for arranging the Instant Decision Day visits. I got to see some of the kids as they received their Instant Decision Days, the pride on their face for the hard work they've put in, and to be able to breathe, to say, okay, I got my first acceptance and the rest will continue to roll in through the mail. But it's just a great feeling to be able to say right there on the spot, I'm going home, I get to text my parents and tell them, guess what, I got accepted. And pure excitement. Now back to acknowledging Dr. Anelli over here on my left. Dear Piscataway community, the Board of Education has been informed by the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Frank Ranelli, that he has accepted a position in another district and will be leaving us at the end of March of 2025. We want to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Ranelli for his years of dedicated service to our students and our Piscataway community. Wish him the best in his future endeavors. Please be assured that all district programs will continue without interruption or change with the ongoing level of commitment to our students that our community deserves and expects. Dr. Ranelli will be assisting in the transition over the course of the next 2 months, during which time the board will appoint an interim superintendent while preparing a robust search for the next educational leader of our district. Signed, Chantel M. Cherry, Board President. The initial shock of Dr. Ranelli and his announcement caught me by surprise, but on the same token, him and I have an open conversation, and you take the opportunities when they come. Your heart will always be where you were, but your future has no limits to where you will go. You know you have left an impact on this district. You know the working relationship you have with the board and with your staff and the teachers and the unions as they've all gotten up here and spoken about. But most importantly, you can hold your head high and say, I'm going into the next chapter, and where I'm leaving them, the next person doesn't have to worry. They can just continue to move forward and take them to the next level. We can never thank you enough for your time, your hours, most importantly, your visions. A lot of visions came through you. Even though they started small, they ended up becoming big. You sat through 4 presidents in this seat. We're all different, we're all different, unique, and we all do things differently, but at the end of the day, you adapted to all of us, and you've seen a reign of change of different board members who are all sitting here now, but at the end of the day, it was always about inspiring the students of Piscataway and the families in Piscataway to assure them that their students were getting the best education that they could actually receive living in this town with such a diverse community. We've got 2 more months of you, and we're gonna work you like a mule, but we're happy for you, and can't wait to see where things go with you in the future.
So I appreciate it. This has been a very quick kind of whirlwind. People who know me the best, probably Colleen saying he's in, it's just comfortable for me. This has never been about me. It's always been about the community and the children and the teachers. And I have been blessed working with great board members who sit at this table and are committed. We'll talk about Board Member Appreciation Month when it's my turn, but I've been blessed to have great people to work with in the cabinet, great people to work with as the association presidents, teachers, all working for one cause, and that's to better the community and better the kids. I didn't prepare anything. I figured that would be in March, but I'm very touched with the words that were spoken. I can't thank you enough.
Okay, now we've done that part. Now we're on to the next part of the agenda. Dave Gannon. Wait a minute. Dave Oliveira and Dave Gannon are now going to take us to the next section of this meeting.
Thank you. As Dave comes up here, Dave Gannon is our audit partner from PKF O'Connor Davies. Every year we're subject to annual audit by an outside firm, and Dave has been with us for many years, and it's his job to present to the board the report on our audit and the auditor's management report that was delivered to the board members last week for your reference. So Dave, take it away.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. Congratulations. Again, the one thing that I always appreciate when we do our audit out here is, the excellent cooperation that we receive from the district's staff. Obviously that, starts with the boards, tone at the top, starts with administration, impacting to your staff that the audit's important. It's unfortunate, our audit lasts probably 4 weeks when you look at all the time that we spend out here. And that's a significant burden for the employees of the district because it really adds to their workload. There's a lot of additional information that they have to provide to us that they would not have to normally do during the day. So we always appreciate the professionalism and the responsiveness of your district staff. So the audit has been filed with the Department of Education. This year the deadline was January 15th. Seems like a moving deadline for the last 6-7 years. As of today, there's only 36% of school districts in the state that have submitted the report. So again, the district's way ahead of things. We actually issued our report, I think December 12th. We had our meeting with the Fiscal Policy Committee, went through the draft a little more in detail than I'm going to go through tonight. Also, I want to congratulate the district on receiving the Certificate of Excellence in the financial reporting for the 7th straight year from International ASBO. So, quite a significant achievement. It's a totally voluntary program. They're all reports, your reports go to an independent reviewer. They look at it to make sure that, and you provide comments if necessary as to whether the report that the district is submitting and producing meets all the requirements of generally accepted accounting principles and the spirit of transparency. There's a lot of information in this report. It tells you exactly how the district spends its funds. There's really no secrets. If a citizen of the district wants to know, how is the district spending my money, it's in there. There's nothing that's not there that they wouldn't want to know. So congratulations for that. We have issued an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. So that means that, again, the district's financial statements are presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. All required, principles, regulations have been complied with by the district. And I will tell you that, every month you receive a monthly report from the business office. the business administrator, the board secretary report. Those are very high quality reports. But the business office really spends a lot of time making sure that those are accurate. And we find that they're high quality and really require, very little adjustments at the end of the year. The district continues to be, very fiscally sound, very fiscally healthy. The fund balance at the end of the year was $67.2 million, which was an increase of 6.2 from the prior year. Very important of that amount, only 2.7 is actually unrestricted. Of all that, there's many other different restrictions that I'll go through. $34.7 million is restricted for capital reserve. And I had the pleasure to sit through the December meeting to understand that there's quite a number of capital needs in the district, and to have that type of reserve is really significant, especially given the fact that the district is debt-free, bonded debt-free. There is an East of Police, but for this size district, not to have any bonded debt is really a significant achievement. It really shows, over the number of years, the district's taken the approach of pay-as-you-go. Save on those interest costs. For many years were pretty expensive. The district also maintains a maintenance reserve of $6.5 million, an emergency reserve of $1 million. Encumbrances of $4 million, so those are open orders from the prior year. They become part of the current year budget. $7.7 million of fund balance is being utilized to fund this year's budget. An unemployment trust fund of $1.9 million, and $8.7 million what we consider excess surplus. So again, that's your total fund balance compared to what's unrestricted, which is, again, unrestricted, you only have 2% of your fund balance. 2% of your operating budget, that's all you can have is unrestricted. Minus all those other restrictions, the $8.7 million goes towards your fiscal year 26 budget. Capital projects fund balance at this point is $1.6 million. That solely relates to the ESIP project as that winds down and gets finished. Food service net position was $1.4 million, which was a decrease from the prior year. And again, the decrease was actually a good thing. The last couple of years we've talked, the district, there's a measure where the state feels you have too much fund balance, to which you need to invest in the food service program. Not that you weren't doing before, but invest more in some equipment, quality of the food. The district did that this past year and now actually conforms with the required level of fund balance. Obviously, you guys know you have a hugely popular adult and child care program in school. Your net position was $3.1 million, an increase of $407,000 in the prior year. As I mentioned, there's no bonded debt, but you'd be interested to know under statute, your legal debt capacity is $437 million. So 0 versus $437 million is quite an accomplishment. Based on the level of funding from federal and state sources, we also were required to do a federal and state single audit. In that, we tested internal controls and compliance to make sure that the district's spending those funds in accordance with those grant programs. We've issued an unmodified opinion on the compliance. Internal control within the district is strong. Policies in place, procedures are in place. The district is very cognizant of how they spend their money. So there's no findings that we found, no material weaknesses, no deficiencies, and no items that we thought required corrective action by the district. So with that, if there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
I just wanted to say thank you for doing such a thorough job again this year, and thank you to the business office for being so diligent. We have fiscal planning and operation committee meetings every month, and to be in this financially sound position, it takes work and paying attention to details, and it's one of the reasons why, and the criteria that why we're a state recognized by the Department of Education as the high-performing district. We get high grades for that, and so thank you. And to be 7 times in a row to be get the certification of excellence in financial reporting is great. So thank you very much.
Yep. And I just want to say thank you. We've got a great David is always there. He knows if I have questions during the year, I give him a ring, which is helpful. Try to address issues before they become an issue. So we really appreciate your help, David, and of course, I'd like to thank the support of Frank and the entire board, the Fiscal Planning Committee, and my great staff in the business office. So thank you very much.
Good night, everybody.
Next, we had the superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. As always, please check out our superintendent's report online in our superintendent's corner. Highlights this month include innovative new learning tools, some partnerships with the community, PHS, as Tanvi said, our student rep, National Honor Society induction, our traveling Star Lab planetarium for all the elementary kids, which were great, and much more. So please get a chance and check that out. January 2025 marks the celebration of Board Recognition Month. When you get a chance, please read the resolution on page 9 of our business agenda. It says a lot about the dedication. I would like to say personally, as I stated a little bit before, I'm blessed to work with a great group of people who have one vision in mind, and that is to better the community and better the situations for the kids. This is a lot of time, a lot of volunteer time, a lot of extra meetings, getting certified. And right on page 1, the board attained New Jersey certification last month. A lot of extra time and a lot of extra dedication, reading the material that we send home, asking the right questions. I am very proud to work with a group like you, and you should be proud of yourselves for everything that you do. So thank you very much. The Peeway Arts Department put together a little gift. That was your bag. So please enjoy that. And again, I can't thank you enough for the volunteer work that you do, and I want to stress that because this is volunteer time. So
If I can just say one word, is
Sure.
that everyone got this annual comprehensive financial report, and what I highly recommend is reading the superintendent's summary at the beginning, because if you read that, it's really chronicles, it's an important overall history and summary of our school district. It talks about our enrollment, it talks about our tax base, and it's a great source of information year on year to see how the school district's doing, and I really appreciate you guys putting it together every year, because it gives you that snapshot in time of what we're doing, and just make sure year on year you just read that every year.
My last thing, and this is going to be a longer one, I apologize, but about 15 months ago, I brought up that I was interested in bringing an esports team and location here for our high school and maybe down to our middle schools as well. And as I said 15 months ago, 15 months later, that morphed into, and many of you know because you're on the committees, taking a look at investing some of the money that Dave was talking about and making an innovative state-of-the-art media center for our high school, which would include an esports arena. And it continued to morph into what great things we can do. And we are at a really nice place right now. So Dave is going to take you through some pictures and where we are, because we're going to ask you to spend some money. So by only rights, you should know what you're spending money on. Okay, so Dave, I turn the floor over to you. David, I don't know. You got to use your tallness to get that thing on. Right? I don't know. I can't reach it.
Yeah, I can read.
There you go. I need a pen.
Right. So, like Dr. Ranelli mentioned, we both felt it was important to talk about a couple of the bigger projects we have coming up. one of the numbers that Dave kind of mentioned, and he said quite a few, but we have what's called capital reserve, and we have about $34 million currently in there. So that's money that the board has agreed to save to try and pay for projects that we need to get done, because as Dave mentioned, we're debt-free. So the Fiscal Planning and Operations Committee reviews all this stuff each month, and we keep them informed of where we are. But there's two significant projects coming up that are going out to bid. We will be asking the board to hopefully award contracts if we get positive bids in the next month or two, and we expect to award these contracts at the February meeting, if all goes well. So we thought we'd share a few photos of what we're envisioning for these projects. So the first one we're going to talk about is, it started out, as Frank said, as the esports room, and it has expanded. And so now we have to call it the interior alterations. It's going to encompass the media center, the nurses' room, an auxiliary cafeteria space, etc. So we want to walk you through what we're talking about here. So these are all of the proposed projects. This top view here, which is quite small, is an engineering classroom and a new nurses' suite. On the bottom left here is a media center space, which will contain an esports room. We will have a classroom here and an expanded cafeteria seating area. So what we'll be doing here is, and we'll have some better pictures, but this is what we commonly call the respect hallway at the high school, where the mural, the respect mural is on this wall right here, and it's a large, oversized hallway. And if you've ever been up there around lunchtime, you'll know we wheel out cafeteria tables, and the kids eat lunch out there, and it's like that for a couple hours, and then the custodians have to wheel away the tables and clean up. It's not the most efficient use of space, and we felt it would be better utilized with more of a permanent arrangement that is more welcoming, more modern, and can be used not just for dining, but can be used as a meeting space as well. The other two areas here, this space here, is the upstairs conference room that we'll be creating. In the media center, there's currently a large set of concrete stairs that go up to the main office. We're going to be eliminating those stairs because in my time here, they've never been used by any administration. Staff doesn't use them, students don't use them. So we're going to eliminate them to capture that space on the first floor for the media center, and on the second floor to create a conference room up in the principal's area. And then lastly, this tiny little sliver here is near the Commons cafeteria and the SBA. There's a cut-in of space where there's currently lockers. And students nowadays do not use lockers the way we did back in our day. They're barely used. So this is an inefficient use of space, and we thought it would be worthwhile to eliminate those lockers and create additional kind of seating area, primarily for cafeteria time, but also can be used at other times at the high school administration's discretion. So we'll get into some photos of what we're envisioning. So the media center space. You can see here kind of some of the color panels that we are going with. The different carpeting options are on the floor here. But the space itself, you have an entrance off the hallway, and we'll have a large kind of entry area. This will be a media specialist desk. The esports room will be off to the right here. We'll have other photos of that. We'll have a sweeping walk down into more of your conventional kind of seating area, but with more modern seating than you find in a traditional library. Libraries these days, we call them media centers because they're much more than just a place where you go and take out books. Again, those days have kind of passed. We will still be having books, but we are going to take this opportunity to filter through the inventory to really make sure that they're relevant and useful books. We'll have two conference rooms here, which will have glass walls that are soundproof. Okay. We went and visited another high school, and we were really impressed with how isolated these rooms can be, and they can be used for small group sessions, for classes, maybe a digital literacy class, any number of options. Okay. But this room, as an example, this wall will be retractable. So again, we're not limiting ourselves with the space, that it's all blocked off. This wall will be retractable, so it will spill out and open into this area. we really tried to focus on multi-function, multi-usabilities for all the different spaces that we're working on.
David, are these ADA compliant as well?
Yes, so this is a view from the entrance here, Tom, and to your point, you can
Yeah.
see a ramp that goes down. But this is a view from like the front doors. If you come in, a mocked-up view of what you would see sweeping back towards the back of the media center. This is one of the rooms I was talking about. This is the other room here. The esports room would be off to the side. This is the media center specialist desk. Again, these are indicative drawings, so this is what we're specking out. It'll be very similar to this. This is kind of that back on the original drawing. This was the top of the drawing. This is that back stretch with more of your traditional bookcases, low-rise bookcases. We'll have bookcases along some of the walls, a lot of different color schemes and more modern lighting that'll be implemented. You can see the glass enclosure for one of the conference rooms here. This is a view of, again, if you go back to the original drawing, this would be kind of the left side of that original drawing, the media center with some, high-rise tables. This is one of the glass enclosed rooms. We'll have a couple of Promethean boards in the space. Again, really more modern, and you can see different pendant light fixtures, kind of cylinder light fixtures, just a more modern feel, more open and airy as well. And this is the other conference room on the other side, a Promethean board. You can see this is the glass wall that I was talking about that's retractable. So you could have, if you had an oversized crowd, you could have a presentation that is viewable on this board here and this board. You could have seating that stretches all the way across. Again, versatility was what we were working towards. So the esports room. This is a mock-up of the esports room. This is the main entrance into the media center. And esports is not my specialty, but we have a seating area here, which this wall will be a glass wall. And students or spectators will be able to sit here and watch into the esports gaming area when we actually conduct, events or gaming competitions in that space. So again, open, airy, visibility. We'll have 20 game stations in this room, 2 banks of 5 here and 2 banks of 5. We have a teacher's desk, Promethean board, another viewing area here with the TV that'll broadcast what's going on in the gaming, and a little Nintendo Switch station area here. So we consulted with folks that know more about esports certainly than I do, and we tried to hit all the marks of what's needed for an esports gaming room as it grows in popularity.
So you'll have a varsity team that plays esports, and to give you an example of a viewing area, they'll have their championships at the end of the year at a college, in an auditorium at a college, because there'll be that many people wanting to go watch these kids play against each other, and broadcast, and do all the marketing and things like that. So it's not just about gaming and things like that. It's about a multi-use arena that kids could get involved without putting on pads and going on a team out of the field.
And because our college teams and
Yeah.
they're smart recruiting
And
for
that's how it was
college,
introduced.
right?
Yeah, so my son's he's out of college a year now, maybe 2, right? So when he was a sophomore, we were looking at colleges, and I'm interested, and they're taking us around, like, oh, here's our esports arena. I'm like, I didn't even know what this was. And then probably about 8 months later, I see it on ESPN, right? And the winnings team win like $10 million, whatever. Like, that's irrelevant, but it's just an opportunity for kids to be able to get involved and be on teams and work towards something without being on an athletic team.
So this is, again, a mocked-up view of what the space will look like. We altered the tables a little bit and the seating, but again, we'll have a Promethean board. We'll have a nice modern wall covering in a corner here. We'll have TVs on this wall for viewing by spectators. Adjacent to the esports room is we'll be creating a classroom. So part of this remodel of this space, there's currently a classroom which way back in the day, used to be a photography classroom. I think there's a dark room attached to the actual classroom there. So we're eliminating that space to do some of the media center and the cafeteria seating space, but the high school administration did say that they did still need a classroom. We couldn't just eliminate that one classroom. So next to the esports room, we'll be creating a classroom so that it can be used. No longer the need for the old school camera photography and film development that was maybe necessary when this building was built. The cafeteria space, again, adjacent to the media center. So just for your, your whereabouts, this is the respect mural here. Okay, so we've expanded into that hallway. This will become a more traditional size hallway. Okay, we're going to eliminate the lockers in there to free up the space, and it'll just be a traditional size hallway. And we're creating more of a modern seating space for the cafeteria dining. The kitchen for the SBA cafeteria is right here, and the commons is over kind of where our wooden door is here, if you will. Okay.
David, how much more cafeteria seating does that secure in that area? Approximately 100 more kids, 50
Yeah,
more kids?
it was over 100. I don't have the
Okay.
exact count.
No,
I do have it in my office, but it was over 100.
More than 100.
Yeah.
That's good. 'Cause
Just so you know, the
they
plan.
need it.
We already did that one.
Yeah.
The plans as they sit, when the architects draw, have to be approved, so that this hallway is enough space for the amount of kids we have in our building, things like that, so we don't have to worry about, anything at being out of compliance or not big enough for our kids.
And, there's one or two photos coming up, but this here is also a glass wall, this right angle here. And it's 3 glass partitions on each side, and the first 2 of which will slide behind the third one. Again, to create an open entrance, an airy feel to the space, better visibility for that, respect mural, because we did see that. It's such a known component of the high school. We wanted to make sure that that was still viewable. So you can see here, this is a view in from that corner. This would be your respect mural. The first 2 glass panels slide back behind the third panel here. So a nice welcoming entrance and opening into the space. Again, mock-up of what the seating will potentially look like. It won't be plain white. It's just for the sake of the drawing. But some more modern seating, like you might find in a Panera, like a little booth bench here, circular booth benches. We have more of your traditional rectangular booth benches against this wall. We'll have some sort of wall covering here. Okay, and you can see we're sticking with the blacks and the golds that are the P-Way colors.
Will the tables be, well, I guess that'll be later on, whether it be circular or...
There'll be a mixture. Yep. This is what is termed the locker niche. This is the little space next to the Commons cafeteria that I talked about that currently has some lockers. We'll remove those locker banks and we'll put some carpet tiles, paint the walls, and put some booth seating, some circular tables, again, some spillover seating for the cafeteria, but it'll also be a more warm and welcoming space that, should the high school administration find other purposes for, it can certainly be used for that. Sample view of that space there.
What I like about that view is you can see how it'll look, and the administration and teachers will be able to see in there at all times.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't be things that are blocking away, and kids can be behind things that you can't see.
Next, so currently the nurse's office is next to the DLC, near the media center. So that is being repurposed and reclaimed for the media center, the esports room, and that first classroom that we showed you. So we had to relocate the nurse's suite. And we're moving it to an oversized classroom that is just down the hall from the new cafeteria space, close proximity. We had a lot of stakeholders involved in this process, including Mrs. Zimmerman and Principal Baldessano, so certainly had a high school staff there. And we've created this new nursing suite. Here will be your entrance with a desk for the nurse. We'll have some waiting seats. We'll have 3 tables, or not tables, cots, benches, if you will, with,
We call them tables,
okay, with curtains so that they can be
exam tables is what.
privately sealed, okay?
Yeah.
And if you need true privacy, we have this walled-off room in the back, okay, which will have its own door, and so we'll have real privacy for the issues that the nurse needs merit going in there. You know, I think nurses' stations get kids that come down, they just don't feel well, they need to rest for a half hour, maybe they ate something that didn't agree with them, you know, and these spaces can be used for that. And we have 2 bathrooms here, inside the nurses' suite. Okay, 2 individual bathrooms.
Because right now there's only one.
I think there's only one.
It's only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we tried to think of, you know, storage, there'll be refrigerator space, we asked how much cabinetry they need for medicines. Underneath, this is like an elevated workspace, and we can fit 2 to 3 wheelchairs in there. We made sure, you know, as many of you know, we have ambulance calls at the high school, we have stretchers that get wheeled in, so we talked about that and making sure a stretcher could be maneuvered in this space. And this is the engineering classroom. So this is the nurses' suite here. Believe it or not, this entire rectangle that I'm going around with the pointer here was one classroom. And from that, we were able to carve out a nurses' suite, and then we'll have a doorway entrance here that'll come down a hallway, and we will have our engineering classroom in this space here. And that has its own storage, its own closet space to store a lot of their gadgets and things that the engineering classroom needs. Okay, these will be tables with overhead pull-down electrical cords so that the engineering folks can plug in their equipment and do it at each of their table workstations. It's a little bright there, but we'll have, you know, these are the tables, a teacher desk. This will be a marker board all the way across. We'll have a Promethean board. Probably not desktops. I think we'll have 3D printers. They have a couple specialized printers for this type of class. Again, different lighting. We have similar lighting to this. And if you recall, a couple years ago, we did our family and consumer science room, and we did some of this flat lighting like this. It really lights up the room well. Again, modern feel. And then the last part is upstairs, the office suite. So this space here is where the concrete steps come from the media center up to the main office area. And by eliminating those steps, we're able to create a conference room and 2 additional offices up in the principal's main office area in the Susan B. Anthony building. So we'll redo some of the furniture here, the flooring, some of the paint, and we will create this conference room, which will have window film going up 6 feet high for an element of privacy. We'll have 2 offices here for counselors to be able to meet with students. Okay, so that's the interior alterations project that we're planning. A large project. I think the budget has escalated over the months that we've been working on this, but again, this is what we're going to do. Frank and I both felt it was important to explain to you what we're going to be doing to spend that capital reserve. This money we've been saving, because we're not going out for a bonded debt, this is how we intend to spend it. Okay.
Before you go into this, I just want to give you a lot of credit. You put a lot of work into this. You assembled the right team, the right people, not only the fiscal part, but just getting to this point. I give you a lot of credit. It wasn't an easy task. A lot of moving parts, a lot of business to places, and I appreciate all that work. I really do. Thank you.
But also to be fiscally responsible, it's linked to the, we discussed it last night at our Fiscal Plans Operations Committee. We have that investment account and the policy that money that we're making on the investment account, that money that we have somewhere that we can actually use for this New Jersey asset and rebate management system, that money can also be put against these capital projects that make them, in the end, less expensive. So.
Thank you. The second project I want to touch on, which is also going to be released out to bid in the coming weeks, is an acoustical panel upgrade. It's something we've talked about if you go back many years when we were considering a referendum. It started initially with the banged up acoustical panels in the SBA gym at the high school, replacing those, and we expanded it to include the space over here, which, we just utilized this evening. Board members know when we have larger presentations, we're over there and the acoustics are terrible. So we thought it was important to improve that space. We do still have students in this building, so it's not just for board meetings. It will have a better purpose with some better acoustics in there. So this is the existing spaces, the Susan B. Anthony Gym. Okay. And of course the board, the all-purpose room right across the hall here. So for the Susan B. Anthony Gym, we'll be removing all of the banged up metal panels that are currently up there and replacing them with black perforated metal, and which it's currently perforated metal, but the idea is, this perforated metal is newer and stronger, okay? But also, we have better netting. One of the problems that caused a lot of the damage were baseballs that were hit up in there for the teams practicing when they're indoors because it's raining or what have you outside. We have better netting and such, so we're confident that it won't be a damage the way the existing metal panels are damaged. Eventually maybe, but we'll get a good run out of this. And in consultation with our architect, we feel this is the best product.
So now the alumni, when they come, they can't say like, that was my dad today from 30 years ago.
They can't say that, Tom, but what they can say is, the reason we went with the solid black perforated metal is the athletic department is going to have banners for
Right.
all the different sports programs and to recognize the achievements of the Piscataway sports teams.
Better.
So we went with this solid black backing, and we're going to be able to hang banners there to recognize all the great sports teams we've had over the years.
And banners that are all the same, no
Right,
felt letters
right.
anymore,
Yeah.
It'll just look like it should.
More uniform.
Yep. And we'll accent that with a yellow or gold, again, P-way colors, on some of the steel girders and such, just to kind of break up the color scheme. I have another photo in the next slide here to show you what we're talking about. But this project, the other thing about the metal panels is when we actually endeavor on this project, it's not just taking the existing panels down and putting new ones up. We actually have to rebuild the framing behind it because of new construction codes with metal framing. So again, you pull the thread a little bit and you got a whole ball of yarn. All right? But again, the beautiful thing about the position we're in, I think everybody knows I don't just waste money, but having that capital reserve gives us the comfort level so when we encounter a problem like that, we can address it and fix it and do it right. So this is kind of a side view. We'll have, again, the black metal panels, gold or yellowish gold trim. We'll paint the walls kind of like a light gray to just be a background color because we really want the black and gold to pop. Now, concurrent with this, one other thing, we recently bought 2 new scoreboards, okay, in that gym. They need to be installed properly on the walls, and we will have the contractor who's doing this install them in brand new locations. So we're not going to just replace the locations that the old scoreboards are currently in. So we're going to put the new scoreboards basically where they should be. So if you have a basketball court, you would have one behind one basket, and then opposite corner you'd have it behind the other basket. So we'll hang one scoreboard on that weight room wall, okay? Which that was one of the first projects I did when I got to district was we did that weight room and we put the wall up. We'll hang one scoreboard there and then we'll put one on the opposite wall. So it'll be like you would see at most high school basketball courts and gymnasiums. Okay. The other thing I'm looking into is I am seeking quotes to replace the bleachers in the gym as well.
Yeah.
Okay. It's something we've talked about for many years.
I don't know if the janitors will be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't. So it's been on our radar for many years. It's not a part of this project. There are 2 specialized vendors who do this type of work on either co-op or state contract. So I am seeking quotes from both of them, and my goal is to have them also replace the bleachers in the summer. Okay, so I don't have quotes yet. Again, having the capital reserve, we should be able to manage it fine.
Will
But
they
once
be
I get,
soft?
I'm sorry?
Will they be
Will
soft?
they be soft?
No.
They're bleachers.
And,
Would they have
Unfortunately not.
individual seats, or
They
would
not
they
have
be a
an
look?
individual groove or
there'll be
something?
different options. I'm meeting actually the first contractor out there tomorrow to kind of get it, for him to see the space and to get a sense of what some of the options are.
Yeah, right.
Then my next question is, what about the patent?
That'll be a different project for a different day. Yeah.
But it's down the way.
On the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Every day has enough trouble for itself.
Look, I have to ask. Inquiring minds want to know.
The good news is
Can't bring any more in, yeah.
both basketball teams and the main wrestling events are all in the SBA gym,
Right.
boys and girls. It's not like, one group is over in Patton.
Right.
There are teams that use Patton, and certainly we'll take a look at addressing that as well. Okay. So stay tuned on information on the bleachers. We'll run it through the fiscal planning committee, but hopefully we get that done as well. And then really between the weight room, the painted walls, the new acoustic panels, we refinish the floor every couple of years. If we're able to do the bleachers, we should have a sparkling, nice new SBA gym for the students and the community.
Well, the only thing that is still always lacking and always being asked about is the locker rooms that are associated with that
Oh.
gym, because those are quite old, and
Don't go look in there.
that's something that down the road we need to take a look at.
Oh,
Don't go
yeah.
look in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something might scare you.
So once we get through some of these projects, we'll reassess our capital reserve,
Right.
and the board will have decisions to make of which way, we go. And then just a mock-up of the room across the hall. We picked this is wrapped, fabric-wrapped foam that'll be mounted on the wall. You can kind of see a sample here, or an inspiration image. We went with different tones of blue and gray, perhaps a little white mixed in, and those will be mounted around the walls across there and should drastically improve the acoustics for when we have musical performances or
Oh,
even, across the hall. Or even like the demonstration we had tonight for the ROTC, so. And that's it. Those are the two. We got a lot of projects going on, but those are two of the big ones coming up that you'll be seeing on an agenda. And again, Frank and I thought it was important to kind of give you a sense of the direction we're heading.
Those capital projects, based on whenever they're approved and stuff, would be trying to do them within this calendar year of 2025? Or?
Yeah, so the acoustical panels in here should be no problem. We anticipate the SBA gym to be able to be done in this summer,
Right.
okay?
That's what
Our goal is to award the contract on February 13th, which is our next board meeting.
Okay,
We're
so
going to
that we
be
can
out
get
to bid
it going.
shortly, and it'll be out on the street for 3 weeks, and then we'll open the bids. The other project, same thing. We hope to award on February 13th. We can open bids on February 11th. It's a tight, aggressive timeline. We'll get the contractor in there as early as possible. If paperwork's done and they can start doing some demo, spring break is very late this week. It's this year, it's the middle of April.
Right.
If they can get a little work done then, great. If there's work that can be done while school's in session, we've already talked to Mr. Baldassano about getting access to the space properly secured as early as May, at some point in May. They'll work through the summer. I'm not going to lie, the ambitious architect target was at October.
Yeah.
I'll be surprised if we're done in October, I'll be honest, okay?
Right.
Um,
If we're done by December, that's
Been
great.
around long enough to know how they go. But, we do keep a schedule, we keep a timeline, and we make sure they're not slacking, and it's certainly going to go into next school year. The question
Right.
is how long. So
Right.
obviously, we'll continue to keep everyone informed.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Interesting. The progress we're making in the district. Moving the mass unit behind and coming into the Jetson land. We're good. Personnel and Labor Relations, Mrs. Delgado Cohen.
Cowan. Be it resolved that the following motions identified as items A through C be approved as presented.
Second. Mrs. Secretary, can you take the roll?
Dr. Connors?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Rivers?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Stafford?
Yes.
Mrs. Salgado Cowan?
Yes.
Ms. Cherry?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
We have one committee report, Dr. Connors.
Yeah, the Fiscal Plans and Operations Committee met last night. Wednesday, January 8th, and we discussed 2025-2026 budget, capital projects, and more. On the 2025-2026 budget, school and department budget meetings are ongoing. The committee discussed the following budget items. A 2% tax levy increase is about $2 million, and we do have bank capped of $1.6 million available. Our state aid is projected, unfortunately, to decrease this year due to state revenue challenges, but the amount, it's still unknown until the end of February, and there are, as everyone knows, inconsistencies in the school funding formula that make the state aid unpredictable. Health benefit expenses are on budget for the first 6 months of the 2024-2025 school year. The preliminary budget estimate for health benefit expenses is expected by late January. Talked about a kitchen equipment installation. Equipment was installed and several pieces of equipment are in use. There's an electrical issue with the ovens in the Patton kitchen, which the electrician and architect are working on. Dave just went over all of the all the facility capital projects, the highlights. Talked about the media, bid specifications are due, released in 2 weeks, and showed up the mock drawings, and you saw a lot of that. Remodeling, you saw about the acoustical upgrades. Bid specifications are due in a couple of weeks. And the district is also pursuing quotes to assist the feasibility of replacing the Anthony gym bleachers, like I said. Piscataway School wood shop dust collection. The contractor is planning to install structural steel supports on President's Day. The dust collection unit is expected to be installed by the end of March. Piscataway High School, this is a big one, intercom clock system, and it's not the clocks, with the big hand and the little hand. That's what I asked last night, because sometimes kids can't tell time anymore through those. They're actually digital clocks. The district administration is reviewing the Piscataway High School building survey to verify the intercom clock system needs, and the district plans to award a contract in March 2025 and complete the project in the summer of 2025. Solar panels. There's a lot of discussion last night about solar panels. Mr. Oliveira reviewed the Talva Energy presentation summarizing the findings and options for solar panels at Quibbletown and Piscataway High School. Talva Energy is also assessing Kanakamak and Shore as some of their panels. The solar regulatory energy credits, that's SREG generation, will be expiring in June 2025. Mr. Oliveira also noted the need for a roof replacement at Quibbletown, estimated to cost $5.8 million. You got to put a new roof on before you put solar panel on. And a proposal from Spiesel Architect for the roof design and construction process will be added to the board meeting agenda for approval. The committee supported the district ownership model for new solar panels and replacing Quibbletown roof. Food services, universal free breakfast is going well. Mr. Oliveira noted that overall participation continues to remain strong. Reimbursable meal revenue for breakfast and lunch is up 35%. And I want to make a link to that Respect hallway. And now that you'll have that extra seating when kids come in the morning to sit down to have the breakfast, we'll also have extra seating to sit and have the breakfast rather than walk through the hall. And the feedback from students, this the Youth Advisory Council meetings, it's been positive. It's called YAC. The YAC meeting was held at Piscataway High School September, and at Shore at Kanakamak this week. Quibbletown's meeting will be Friday, January 10th. And this is popular. Chef Day was held at Eisenhower in December, with the featured meal being a mac and cheese bar. And MLK had a Chef Day scheduled for Thursday, January 9th. And David always says the measure of how successful these things are is when you look in the garbage, the only thing left is the little cardboard boat. There's no food left, so they're eating all the food. New Jersey School Business Legislative Update. Me, Dr. Connors, we discussed the New Jersey Department of Education public comment session related to the School Funding Reform Act funding, AE 4563, which would create school funding portal bill to the public, and other bills up for discussion. I know we have our board, our president of the Piscataway Teachers Education Association, but Joe is also a member of the Rahway Board of Education, and he attended one of the sessions sponsored by Senator Vin Gopal about school funding. He said it was very well funded. We are at the end of that period, so they have to look at modifying it, and so there are sessions happening right now, getting feedback from local school boards and New Jersey School Board Association and other associations. Business office update. I mentioned that investment account. It's been it was a great idea. The committee reviewed the current balance on December 2024 NJ ARM, that's the asset rebate management statement, and current interest rates, which are like a little over 5, somewhere in 5%. So it's money that we would have in the bank anyway, but we're actually investing it and making money on it. And when Dave showed last night the capital projects, how much it was, that we've generated, what, about 1.2 million so far in interest. That would be
Last fiscal year.
last fiscal year that can be applied this year to these projects. So if you just look at it, that 5.8 million project, because of that investment, would really be a 4.6 because of the money we generated through that, which was a great idea, Dave. Super idea. And the transfer additional funds approved at the December board meeting has been set up, and that's my report, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Connors.
Chairperson.
Approval of the minutes, Ms. Rivers.
Yes, be it resolved that the following minutes be approved as submitted. Business meeting December 12th, 2024, and the executive session December 12th, 2024.
All in favor?
Aye.
Fiscal planning and operations, Dr. Connors.
Be it resolved that the following motions identified as items A through H, because there was one that was added as a walk-in, be approved as presented.
Second. Mr. Secretary, can you take the roll?
I just want to note for the board, I'll correct it in the minutes, but item E references the withdrawal being for the paving upgrades. It's actually for the roofing upgrades at Quibbletown, the project we just mentioned in the fiscal planning report. So I'll make that change for the minutes, but I just wanted to make sure the board was aware. We'll take the roll. Mr. King?
Yep.
Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Rivers?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Stafford?
Yes.
Dr. Connors?
Yes.
Mrs. Salgado Cowan?
Yes.
Ms. Cherry?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
We don't have anything for policy this evening, so we're going to go.
Madam, just real quick,
Go for it.
I just wanted to pass on to the chairperson of policy and also to the admin person, David Rubin, that I was going through the policies, and because it often gets contentious at times, school and facility names, how we recently had renamed the football field, et cetera. But when I read it, it's not up to date in that we still are referencing the board shall submit to the Community Relations Committee, and I'm just asking that you change it to the CCR. So this is for you, that's for David Rubin. At your next policy meeting, please just, on policy, what number is it?
Community relations.
Yeah, policy 7, whatever it's called, just change it, please. Or just-
So noted. You got it, Dave?
7250.
Yep, did I give you one?
I just gave it to him.
Oh, yeah, okay.
District policy, 7250.
And I will give this to David after.
Oh, yeah, oh, you got the other
I
one,
have
I'm
the
looking for the other one. Okay, fine. I know I had 2.
Curriculum, Mr. Patel.
Be it resolved that following motions identified as A through C be approved as presented.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, can you take the roll?
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Rivers?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Stafford?
Yes.
Dr. Connors?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mrs. Salgado Cowan?
Yes.
Ms. Cherry?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Pupil services, Ms. Nelson.
Be it resolved that the following motion identified as item A be approved as presented.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, can you take the roll?
Ms. Rivers?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Stafford?
Yes.
Dr. Connors?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Mrs. Salgado Cowan?
Yes.
Ms. Cherry?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Administrative and auxiliary, Ms. Stafford.
Be it resolved that the following motions identified as items A through F be approved as presented.
Second.
And just Madam Chairman, a comment on that one. This one, we're appointing, it's item C and item D and item E. And on item D, where I'm being appointed to serve as the district representative to New Jersey School Board's Delegate Assembly, is something we haven't been doing that I'm going to ask that we do, is that the Delegate Assembly represents like 600 school districts across the state, and its whole purpose is to come up with belief statements to advocate our state legislatures and these resolutions. What we haven't been doing, and I haven't been sharing with you, is the resolutions that committee wants to put forward. So what we're not really getting is it's more of a sense, it's been myself determining whether I vote yes or no on it. And what I'd like to do, because at the last delegate assembly, they wanted, there was a change in the bylaws to give more time for school boards to do that. So what I'll be doing this year is right before delegate assembly, the meeting before, I will tell you, these are the resolutions that are being put forth because they're very pertinent issues, and it will change the policy language of New Jersey School Board's policy manual that they use to advocate state legislators. So I will make sure that I do that this year.
Thank you, Dr. Connors. We're going to hold you to that.
Yep, no problem.
Mr. Secretary, can you take roll?
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Stafford?
Yes.
Dr. Connors?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Rivers?
Yes.
Mrs. Salgado Cohen?
Yes.
Ms. Cherry?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Old business. Any old business?
Real quick, I will be continuing our board certification process. There is a next award of certification called the Carol E. Larson Master Board Certification. And so a board, once they've got this award, can go take 2 more years to get 10 credits, which is like basically 5 sessions. And so over the next couple of years, we'll be having like 5 special meetings in order to keep going with our high-performing board. And you'll be hearing from me about the first one, and we'll work for our field representative, Mary Ann Friedman.
All right, thank you, Dr. Connors. Anybody else with old business? Anybody with new business?
I just want to mention for the new board members that will be attending their weekend retreat of learning, that we look forward to you guys coming back with oodles and oodles of knowledge. All of us who have been through that process on this dais know that in addition to it being a time of, educating yourself and learning what it means to be a dedicated servant to this community, it also is a time for you to congregate with other new board members around the state and get new ideas to bring back here to our home in Piscataway. So good luck on your adventures.
Thank you.
And I'll see you there as one of the executive state officers, so we'll get together like we have always do.
And I also wanted to just personally, as the new vice president of our Piscataway School Board, mention to Dr. Rinelli, how nice it is to sit next to you on this dais now. And although you will be leaving us, I wanted to thank you for all your years of service with Grand Piscataway. And thank you.
Now we're just going to sit here and stare at each other.
No, we're not. Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
A motion for adjournment.
All in favor?
Aye.